Cheese.
No, moon.
Pencil.
Pencil.
Beat you. Oh, pencil again. Oh, you've done it.
I beat.
Welcome, guys. Macy has the lurgy. Welcome to Camper Chats number, I think it's 4, if not, 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Camper Chats number 4. Welcome to Campervanning.
Welcome to Vanlife Goodies. We travel as a family in our VW T5 campervan, sharing our adventures and tips and tricks of van life. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. We have this stand here so Macy can stroke the mic. Little fluffy. I think that's just if it's windy, and it's not windy in here, but it looks nice and Macy wants to stroke it, so we'll keep that. That was a game of Dobble, by the way. If you've never played it, it's hilarious. I'll stick a link below. They are good. It's on my Amazon thing. My Amazon page has all these games. Small, compact, great for any age. Anyway, so welcome to Camper Chats, episode 4, we think. It might be episode 5, we're not sure. And it's all about campervanning with children. So obviously my children are grown up now. Here's your cup of tea, Macy. Yorkshire tea.
In my nice mug.
In your beautiful, show them the beautiful, look at that beautiful mug. We've also got today homemade almond and jam biscuit. No.
I'm being healthy.
Oh, I'm not. Right. Oh. Okay. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, so I have notes. So obviously my children are grown up now.
You said that 5 times.
Well, no I didn't. I've said it twice and I will rewind twice. My children are grown up now. So obviously my children are grown up now. So obviously my children are...
3 times.
No, it's 3 times. Oh my goodness, I got all these notes. Campervanning with kids. My children are not kids anymore, they are teenagers, and I will do a video about campervanning with teenagers. But this is just some little tips and tricks that we've learnt along the way when we had them and they were smaller, before you grew up. And for anyone middle-aged, yes, the light is at the end of the tunnel. Not that I don't love my children, of course. Macy's going to get a campervan anyway and come away with us, aren't you, in your own campervan?
Maybe.
Okay, so a little bit of campervan with kids. A couple of things I want to share that we have, we would advise. However, the whole point of Campervan Chats is that you put something in the comments about what you think. If you have got children or you've noticed something that you thought was useful when campervanning with kids, please share it, because the idea is that the comments creates opportunity for people to get ideas and learn from it. So the first one is, we found this on a car boot sale, and if I can find one I will stick it on my Amazon shop. But when Macy was a toddler and we didn't even have Ruby, she was like 3, when you get to a place and you're setting up and you're putting your awning out and stuff like that, a toddler wants to move, they want to get out, they want to do their thing, and you're constantly doing stuff and watching them at the same time. So we had this little device that attached to her shoe, and you turned it on and the one device was with you and the other device was attached to her shoe, and when she went out of like a range of 200 metres or 100 metres, whatever you set it at, it set off an alarm. So you didn't have to constantly check all the time. You knew if she was out of range. It was just a really handy device for a toddler. I can't even think what it's called. I'll try and find one, but that was really useful.
Can you do the ranges in like...
You can change the range. I think it was like 100 metres or 200 metres. It wasn't far because obviously it was for toddlers. And you put it on the shoe. And then if you wandered off, because kids are like, they're into something and then they wander off and you look again and they're gone and you're like panic, you know, so it just stopped that from happening. It was really helpful. Another idea is to make sure you have hot water bottles, not just, well, you know, campervanning's cold, even on a summer's night it gets chilly, and a hot water bottle, if you get a fluffy one, it's like a teddy for a kid, and it always helps them to cosy up, doesn't it? And feel all cosy. So I think that's just a nice, cheap, easy way to Macy's got a cold. So one of the first things I would say is that when you have children, make sure, our advice would be that camping on campsites is easier. A couple of reasons. It's easier because there's more facilities there, so you've got your toilet and your shower and everything there, and dishwasher, and it just makes life a bit easier. But more importantly than that is when they're kids, what makes it for them is other kids, other friends, and someone to play with. And if you can get the two things we used to look for on a campsite when the kids were a bit younger was a play park and Wi-Fi. And those two things, if there was a play park, there's a place where kids will meet to have fun and to meet up even at night when you're all just chilling, chatting as older people. They kind of go to the park, and the park's usually visible from where you are, so it's safe, and that's where they meet friends, isn't it? You've met loads of friends, and you've got loads of good memories just from having a park on a campsite. And then also Wi-Fi, because when they want downtime away from people, they just like to scroll or watch telly, and I think
there's not much else to do.
There's not much else to do, and I think, you know, when you want to relax, you do, because it's more physical when you're camping, isn't it? You're more like you're running around and you're climbing and you're playing tick, and you're doing all the old-fashioned stuff we used to do when we were young on the street that you can't do now because you will get run over. You kind of do camping. So that's one point. Hang on. I think it's helpful if you're on a campsite as well to have a tent. So even if you don't have a drive-away awning, have a separate pop tent or something where you can just put stuff, because you have more stuff with kids, but you don't always need the stuff all the time. So having somewhere to just put stuff to keep your spot as well when you drive off to go for a day out, but also to just put the extra stuff that comes with having younger children. One of the things we used to have, which is a really good idea, was these big, you may have seen it in one of my videos, big heavy duty plastic boxes, and the lids were so heavy duty you could sit on them, so it could be used as a seat, but each one had the name of the person, so Macy, Ruby, Dad, Mum, and in that box would be all their things. So it was easy, because if there was something lying around, it'd be like, go and put it in your box, Macy, and she'd know which was her box because it had her name on, and she'd put it in there, and it meant that you didn't lose stuff because they were always in these boxes, and these boxes are stackable. So when we were driving, we would just stack them in the van and put them in the pop tent when we were arrived at our campsite, or if we did a wild camp, we just put them up on the driver's seat, and they would just stack. And I remember we did, like, you weren't really kids, you were a bit younger than what you are now, but we did a trek around 4 different campsites, do you remember? We did it with another young person, and we did it with Ruby and you, and we used those tubs then, I think, and it was like everything you need for this camp, this 2 weeks, has to fit into that tub. So your teddies, your toys, all of your...
Sorry.
Okay. All of your clothes, and it meant that everyone had the same amount of space in the van, but they also knew where everything was.
Easy to pack everything away, and also you don't have to worry about it toppling over when you're driving. It can balance on top of each other.
And you're not like, well, where's that? Where is it? Yeah. It's like, is it under the seat? Is it there? Because believe it or not, in a small space, you actually lose stuff, don't you?
What's that one thing that you lost? And
it was a sleeping bag. No, do you remember we lost a sleeping bag? How'd you lose a sleeping bag in a small...
We
went
still
away.
haven't found it.
No, we did. We found it. It was under there, but we searched under there like we really did. Anyway, we did find it. But yes, okay, so the other thing I do whenever we've got children, we have fostered for 20 years. We don't do it now, but that means that we often have lots of other children as well as our own. And so one of the things we always have when we go camping is you know those linen bags that you take your washing to the laundrette, or you don't, you use them for storing stuff, but the big linen bags, they're dead cheap. Fill that with things like crisps and biscuits and croissants in their own packet and anything that is grab food. Go to B&M's and fill it full of junk, basically. Cereal boxes, you know, the little mini ones that they can eat dry, or they can pour milk directly into them and eat it.
Yeah, you can pour it into the packet, you don't actually have to use it.
Anything, because what happens is you'll cook your breakfast and then they run around, and then you've just sat down after clearing up after breakfast, and they come back and they're hungry again, and you're like, seriously? So it's really helpful to have a grab bag where they can just go and get snacks. And it just, because you want to relax as a parent, and when you've got young children, it's pretty intense, because you don't really, everything takes twice as long, everything. So it really is helpful having something like a grab bag, and then you have your breakfast meal, and then you might have your you might have a snack for dinner, but your evening meal's usually later on, so it's usually like round the campfire and you're having a barbecue, that kind of vibe. So having that kind of snack bag is a really good idea. And don't worry about unhealthiness when camping. I don't think you can be super healthy when camping with kids. I think that's the whole kind of joy of it, is it's a bit more relaxed and a bit more free and easy, and you can just chill out a bit more, can't you?
And you're doing a lot more exercise anyway because you...
That's a good point.
In
You
a
are.
van.
Yeah. It's the only time my kids get fizzies, when they're on holiday. Even now. It's too expensive, isn't it? Coke and all that. But okay. So just while I'm going along with this, if you've got tips for camping with children, can you please put them in the comments below so other people can go and read them? Please share your tips, because it's really helpful. So the other thing I've put is to let them stay up late. Don't fret about bedtimes. Let them lie in. Let them sleep in the day. Just chill out a bit. Pick your battles, you know. Just let them be a bit more mucky and miss brushing their teeth occasionally, and, you know, don't worry about it, kind of thing. Just chill out a bit, isn't it? Because that's kind of the joy of camping. It's a bit more relaxed, isn't it? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Can you think of your, like, best time as a kid camping? Can you think of where it was?
I'll have to have a moment to think about
I
that.
can think of one where you dug a massive hole.
Oh yeah, we were at Shell Island and we dug a big hole because we had shovels and it was big enough to probably fit this van.
No, literally could. They had to fill it in afterwards, didn't they?
With a big, like, the digger.
A digger, like the proper massive digger. And that's all they did. They just dig this hole for days on end. It was like a mission, wasn't it? And you've met loads of friends, haven't you?
Yeah, I
Places
remember
like
we
that.
went on that campsite and I think I met this guy who I was friends with when I was really younger, and we went to the shop and we bought matches, and we weren't allowed to buy any more matches because we'd already bought all of them.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to start fires. But
That was an eco campsite, actually.
Yeah, that was a
And
really
then what
good
happened
campsite.
with that? So let me tell you this story. So we went to this eco campsite. You were allowed campfires. They were allowed to buy matches because it was for the campfires. And one of the points I've said is that it's really good, these opportunity to teach children under safety how to start fires safely, how to cook on a fire, how to put them out. You know, it's an opportunity for education, really, survival education. However, you can learn from our mistake. Macy then put these matches in her pocket and they went and played tick or whatever. And then I got a phone call from the school 2 weeks later when she went back to school saying, Macy's come into school with matches in her pocket, because they'd stayed in her pocket and she'd gone to school. And then I got a phone call because you'd gone in with matches. And you're like, yeah, it's fine to start fires, but not in school. Not that you were trying, but
No,
it was
I
like, you
wasn't.
can't carry matches around in school. So our mistake. But I think I just think it's an opportunity for learning. We've also done things like bow and arrows, haven't we? Where we stripped wood and turned them
that
into
wasn't
bow and
camping,
arrows.
but
No, it
we
wasn't
did go
camping.
out
Yeah,
and we brought like the small like pen knives.
little pen knives, learning to do that away from your body and stuff like that. So I think anything like crafty but kind of outdoor crafts, I think they call it forest school now. If you Google forest school on YouTube, I'm sure you'll come up with loads of ideas of what you can do when you're out and about, and I just think it's really helpful for that. Okay, what are your tips? It's my typing, I just do it in a rush.
Yeah,
You know, like when you write, then you go, what does that say? I do the same typing. Supervision. Anyway, so have you seen, we've been playing a card game. Handy to have a few card games, but I would, if you're going camping with kids, make sure you see what's nearby for a rainy day, because rainy days, especially in a small camper van, but even a bigger one, you become cooped up, don't you? You get in each other's face and you just do each other's heads in.
And there's not much room to kind of separate from each other.
You do need to get out the van if you've got a couple of kids in a small space. So I think it's important to have a look what there is nearby, be it bowling, the cinema, you know, like a museum, or go swimming, something like that. Find out what there is nearby and then time it. So look at the weather. If it's going to be a rainy day, think that's the day we're going to do that. And I think that's really helpful, because if you've done an activity, then that might be the day that you spend money on going getting tea out instead of cooking it by the fire, because it's just easier. And I think you save a lot of money camping because you tend to have fun on the campsite. You go walking from the campsite, doing whatever you want to do, but the day that you spend the money is usually the rainy day, because that's when things need to be spent, because, you know, it's a different experience. And it is rubbish if you're stuck in a camper van and it's raining, to be honest. Can you think of anything else camping with kids? I can think of something. You know, like they make friends on the park, but they also... It's not always friendships, is it? Sometimes you have arguments. Sometimes kids get tired, they've had a bit of sugar, it's late, they've had late nights and they get irritated. You know, don't get stressed about these things. This is an opportunity for social skills. This is where they learn social skills and they learn to kind of manage that we don't get on with everyone and how we're going to manage that. So don't become that parent that's like, my kid. You know, let's go and speak with the mother or father of that child and see if you can resolve it like properly, like grown-ups do. You know, let's try and kind of teach our kids how to resolve conflict in a better way, because, you know, they're going to have it all their life, basically. So the sooner they learn, the better. Cheers. Conflict resolution. Tea is the answer to all conflict. Yorkshire tea.
Yeah.
And almond biscuits. Anyway. So,
look at that minuscule bite.
I know, I don't look like a fatty going on. What else to add? So don't forget to share your
Wipes.
comments. Go on.
Wipes. It's very hard to wash your hands and stuff,
Oh my
especially with
goodness.
kids when you're having stuff.
Wet wipes, we've got them here. They're probably dry wipes now.
Tissues,
They are dry
wipes.
wipes now. Tissues and wipes. Wet wipes are good. It is plastic though.
For shoes, for...
Just a damp cloth. But yeah, I do think wet wipes are very handy to have always. I think if you've got babies, you have them literally for the rest of your life until they become teenagers, don't you? They're always in your handbag. I'm trying to think of anything else because I haven't written anything else down. I think maybe don't plan too much and expect everything to take forever. You know,
it does. It takes about
really
3-4
does.
hours.
It will
to get
take you
everyone up, ready,
till about
breakfast.
2 in the afternoon to get up, have breakfast, sort your camper van, take everything down if you're going away in your camper van, and that's fine because the kids, excuse me, are usually off playing with their friends. And you're just exhausted by the time you've done that, so it's kind of okay to just go for a mooch, just slow down. It doesn't have to be a major event. I think it's different when they're older, and we'll do a video on that. I think with teenagers you can be much more planned and much more kind of what you're going to do, and you can be a bit more on it with older kids. But with younger kids, relax, let them play, let them be bored, because it's in the boredom that they will find something amazing to do.
You have a point, actually, yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. You tend to actually try and do something. If you're bored, you'll do something that you don't usually.
Can you think of campsites that you've chilled out with friends at the park or whatever?
Sunflower Park was a good one.
Oh my goodness, yes, Sunflower Park. They had some dogs as well, didn't they?
Yeah, just things like you
And
wouldn't
geese.
usually.
The geese attacked Macy. It's a bit of a going
But
joke.
they didn't attack me. They tried to.
They tried to. So you
And I was
defended
barefoot,
the young person that was with us, didn't you? And went to kick them. And then all I saw was that I heard screaming and then saw this young person legging it across the field. Ow! Ow! With Macy shortly after all these geese after Macy. It was so funny.
I didn't kick it. It
No, you
tried to
didn't.
attack me, so I tried to kick
Tried to
it
shoo it away
get
kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. Remember that? It's so funny.
Oh.
So whenever we see geese now,
Yeah.
made you wary, hasn't it? Anyway, I think that's probably it for our camper chats today with my lovely Macy and her pink cuddly blanket.
Yeah.
So share your tips below of campervanning with kids. I'm hoping you'll have loads more than what I've got, because mine are grown up now and I've forgotten all my tips. But there's a few, and please share yours below, and then maybe next time I might do campervanning with teenagers, which is a bit more up to date and relevant for me. But I certainly will be doing that in the future. Anyway, for now, goodbye. Enjoy your campervanning. Bye.